Yes, people, welcome to the panel lockdown session, season 2, episode 2. I am your
really
co-host. Sorry?
You sound really smooth today. Normally you sound like Cadbury.
Yeah, it's like an R&B voice,
You
right?
sound like Gallagher.
The
I
late
am
night
your
R&B show.
Come on
Yeah.
now. Yeah, baby.
Oh, no.
I am your co-host, Blacklisted, and we have Rain underscore. I don't know which way to
Oh, you was
point.
right the first time. Rain underscore Wilson 445.
And then we have Mills GP. We have a bevy of guests. Shall we start with the beat maker? Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jojo, the beat maker. Pretty much it, really.
Awesome.
Sneakerhead. Yeah.
And we have the king of squats. Sir, would you want to introduce yourself?
Boy, legs I could have done though.
That's
Jeffrey
right.
here.
Nice.
Hey, boy.
We have who we call the professor.
Or doctor.
Or doctor.
Strange. Whatever it is, be good. Doctor Strange, answer to a lot of names. Love sneakers, hate sneakheads. Oh, and we've got also. And we got Max.
Hey.
Air Max.
Air Max. Awesome. And finally, we have our man from one of the biggest stores in the UK. Sir, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name's Alvin. You all right?
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. All right. We're here today. We're going to be talking about a whole heap of stuff centered around SB Dunks, Kanye, and if we have time, a quick fire round of various stuff that's bobbling within the sneakerverse. But yeah, without further ado, let's get on with SB Dunks. And I want to discuss the resurgence of SB Dunks. And in particular, why has the recent resurgence in Nike SB Dunks, why have they been so hyped? And I'd like to pose that question to Alvin.
Oh, well, that's a good question. Why hyped?
Hyped. What do you mean by hyped? Do you mean hyped by the community or hyped by the brand? Because I guess you could ask it two ways, right?
Yeah, I guess you could. I'd say let's start with the brands, and then we can migrate that over to the community.
I don't know. I mean, everything's cyclical, isn't it? I mean, obviously, SB had its moment from 2002, 2003 when it came to the UK, the golden 5 years up to about 2007. And then it sort of, petered out up to about 2010. And then you had several years where, there wasn't a lot going on. Obviously, the sort of Janoski was the main shoe that SB was behind after the sort of Dunk had tailored off. But as to why they brought it back, I don't really know. They don't share that sort of information with us as to why they did it. For several years, I'd go up to do the appointments in the showroom, and there'd be one solitary Dunk, usually in the bottom left-hand corner, and it was usually a high, and usually nobody had bought it, and that was just it was just there. There was never a low, up until obviously 2018, I suppose it was the tail end, when obviously a new team came in at SB. Apparently, they brought some guys back, obviously from the beginning, when it had first launched, and they obviously decided that it was going to be Dunk time again, and that was that.
I see. Do you think, and I've posed this question to Jojo, do you think that Dunks actually ever went away?
Yeah, you know what it is, like they had a few years where it was dry. I'd say that. Like what Alvin says, they had their kind of heyday. Like once they, all of the stuff I'd say like What the Dunk was their kind of golden era.
Yeah.
They had a couple of years after where it's kind of still floating around. Then like Alvin said, there was just highs, there wasn't many lows. There was shape changes. There was a lot of different things happening. Then I guess they kind of come back with a pink, orange and silver box pairs around 2017, yeah? Yeah. And from there, it's kind of had a steady build. Then Travis Scott come along, rocking dunks, and everyone wants to wear them, right?
Do you think, Dan, do you think Travis is actually responsible for the resurgence of dunks?
I'd say not to dunk heads, but to a lot of people that wasn't in that kind of area looking for shoes like that before. So dunk heads, there was always around. Like people were always looking for, you know, dunks. Even like people were still going back for pairs like years later. Then I'd say when Travis Scott started to wear them. Right? Pardon?
If you think about pricing, the prices really, really dipped hard. You know, if you think about, so many people must be ruining not stocking up on dunks at this moment because I mean, who's
you're not going to go back for pairs now. Like that's just stupid. I mean, like
you could have had, you know, like a year ago or whatever. You could have just absolutely, you know, had the pick of anything that you wanted. Exactly. I don't know, man. I think they hit the dunk like so hard for such a long period. I'm trying to think of another shoe for which there might have been so many collectible colorways on one shoe, other than say an Air Force One.
We've seen it already.
Fantastic.
Flying Teddy.
That was fantastic. Oh, what a cue. Did you do that on purpose?
No, I don't know what he's doing. It's just they knew I'm on the phone, so yeah, I don't know what he's up to, little shit. But yeah, I don't know. I think that it hit so hard. So surely maybe they had to wait a time. But yeah, it's. I have to say, you know, I actually got pretty sick of dunks. I felt like I'd seen so many, and I wasn't like, okay, when it was starting to bring back, I was like, okay, they're bringing the dunk back, are they? But I have to admit, I think they've absolutely nailed it. I think they've absolutely.
Yeah, they were kind of allowed to deface the swoosh, right? They wasn't allowed to do that for a long time. Then all of a sudden, we've had countless amount of pairs. What is really unseen, like Nike letting people deface the swoosh like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's another reason why they've come back so strong is they're doing stuff which was never done before.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
It is fresh. They've actually managed to find a way to get it fresh.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree. Like, if you think about the Ben G's, like the whole shoe was embossed with swooshes all over, and you know, the original Supreme sample had swooshes all over, and it didn't make production. Yeah. So it shows you that obviously times changed, and because times changed, I think also. We will also remember that the people behind the team changes over time. There might be obviously people that are still in the team now, but like there's obviously new guys. There's a breath of fresh air to a lot of the resurgence. You know, like to kids that are half our age, or maybe even younger, they never knew about the precursor to dunks being a thing in the first place. They would never know about the Pro B era before it became SB. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. I think it's, I think it's just one of those kind of things where like me being kind of like in the middle, like I am technically slightly younger, but also now quite old. And I kind of saw the phase in, phase out quite rapidly. But I think like the relevance of dunks never really died out, but more so because there wasn't continuous solid product that comes out, and the reform of the shape when it became the low pro version, it pancaked the toe box out for skating purposes. Like they said, it's better for skating, additional padding around the heel. There's a lot of changing to the shoe that made it more relevant, but then the colorways or the ideas or the concepts didn't really agree with everybody. I think one of the dunks that kind of stood out to me and one of my friends was like the Bigfoot SB dunk low. That was actually a really good dunk, but nobody cared for it. You know what I mean? Like it was just sitting on at Nike Town for ages on the SB wall and nobody bought it. And then there's me and my friend going back to look for it like a couple of months back, and all of a sudden it's £400-500 a pair. Like that shoe went on sale. Do you know what I mean?
There's a lot of pairs like that.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like the general flip of dunks in general, like whether it's a collegiate dunk or an SP dunk, like you buy it in for £80 and then you just see it on the marketplace for £3 and above.
Yeah, I pulled out a pair the other day and it still had like the $64.99 price tag on the box. And I was looking at thinking, was that in sale? And I was like, that's how much they used to be, $64.99.
Yeah.
And a lot of them pairs would go into sale anyway. So like you've got people like trying like buying pairs now, which would be getting sold for like £45 for like £500-600 or whatever.
Well, that's it. I mean, like I picked up my Money Cat lows, was it 2 years ago for £30, bro? Like
Whoa.
I've been searching for the shoe for that long, so I completed my whole Money Cat pack over the last 8 years, and I paid less than £300 for all three of them. In fact, it was a lot lower than I think it's barely 200 to be honest. And like this was from, I'm pretty sure the eBay sellers that I hit up at the time were either people that would get rid of stuff because they're moving house or no longer part of like the game, but they were definitely there when, you know, the Slam City takeover at Nike Town and stuff like that. So like, you know, it is, I feel like a lot of things that were not loved back then now get the love because times are crazier and it's okay to be an individual now. While not saying back when I was younger, like bright colors and loud kicks weren't a thing, because they were, like the whole Bape era, the whole BBC Ice Cream era. You've got all of that kind of stuff, you know, Stussy with the loud colors, you know, Supreme with the loud colors, and that was fully a thing back then. And the resurgence of social media brought everything to kind of light, you know, and then, or like we've seen time and time again in the past, as soon as a celebrity touches something of on trend, it just blows up. Like we all saw the Newcastles. How many people knew that Newcastles didn't even go for any money back then, bro? Yeah. Newcastles was a slept-on shoe because not everybody would want to wear a yellow shoe. Exactly. And then Travis comes on with a photo, and then boom, it raises by 30% on resale on the day. It's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? But
the Doom did quite well too, right?
Doom is doing the Doom. So one of my friends who's been an SB collector for years, liquidated everything halfway through his career, and he's a skater himself. And literally, he hit me up, I think maybe just at the top of lockdown, to hit me up. He was like, dude, I found a site in Paris that has a pair of NERD dunks and a pair of MF Dooms. And he goes, and I was like, okay, cool. So where are you getting at? He goes, I know you want the NERDs and I want the MF Dooms. Do you want to do it together? And then the prices were $7 a pair, bro. And there's me thinking to myself, like the MF Doom, to be fair, yeah, out of all the kind of black box era, black purple box era, the MF Dooms have always held a solid price. Do you know what I mean? Like they've always been of high value, but now because of the resurgence, it's almost doubled in the value it was. And because the materials they used back then was immaculate. Like you got ostrich leather and suede with 3M piping and stuff like that. That was what made SBs cool. Like you get the biggest concepts and collaborations slapped onto a shoe, even though it's not officially affiliated with the inspiration. People would just name it that. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I think I probably miss about the SB dunks from the earlier, the early 2000s. And I've said this before, you know, like even when I started collecting, it was a little late. I missed the first wave. I missed the 07-08 wave. I started collecting properly in 2009. By then, 2010 came, Blue Box era came, and the only couple pairs that I grabbed at the time were the Entourage SBs because I never got the Entourage SB, and the Gucci Resins at the time. And that's about maybe the Space Jams and the McFlys. And yet again, it's because of the inspiration behind the shoe that I bought the shoe. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't go around. I don't think any of us went around just buying it because it's trendy. But more so, like I never was able to get any of the McFly Hyper Dunks, none of the mags or anything like that. So when they slapped that colorway and the materials on SB Dunk, it was a no-brainer for me because even when you pull the insole out, you see the print of the hoverboard, and the stuff like that makes SB Dunks really in it. You know,
definitely get good designers on them.
Sure. I just want to jump in, and I just want to throw a question to Emil and then Alvin. Do you think the SB resurgence is short-lived, Emil?
Yeah, I do. Everything's cyclical in the sneaker realm, and you know, back then they lasted what we got maybe 5 years, 6 years in the mid to late noughties. but everything moves a lot quicker. Everything moves a lot quicker now. So I don't think it's going to stick around for too long. I think why it's great is because a lot of people had their plugs and their footwear locked down for when they were going to get the latest hype, but now they can't get everything. So it's kind of like do you know what? I'm not going to go into that because that's going to send me down a rabbit hole. But yeah, I don't think it's going to last too long.
I disagree.
Cool.
I disagree. I think there's too much money in it. I don't think people are going to let it stop. I think that the fetches, the price they fetch, and the money that's changing hands on resale. I think that the power behind the big resale muscle is just not going to let it stop. I think they're just going to hype it.
But you've got the anniversary as well. You've got the anniversary.
Sorry.
You've also got the anniversary in 2 years.
Sorry, hold on a sec, guys. Sorry, I just want, before you jump in, Jojo, I just want Alvin to answer the same question. And sorry, Alvin, just for your hearing, do you think the resurgence, the SB resurgence, do you think it's going to be short-lived? Yes or no, and why?
I don't think it will be short-lived. I think we've got at least another 2 years on it, and I think for the reason that Joe just said, we've got the 20th anniversary coming in 2022. I've obviously, because we buy so far ahead, I've already seen obviously what's coming for holiday and spring 21 and summer 21, and it's ridiculous compared to what we've even. I mean, everybody's going. No, that's just my job, isn't it? But but obviously, but it's ridiculous. I mean, everybody's. I get 1,000 DMs every week. Oh, I didn't win the raffle. I'm going to kill myself. All this sort of stupid shit. And it's like, look, it's a pair of kicks. It's a pair of kicks, dude. And there's like another 20 pairs of dunks come between now and Christmas. You'll get over it. There's plenty more. You'll forget about the Grateful Dead. You'll forget about the Medicoms you didn't get because there's plenty more coming. But like I said, up to 2022, and like Dan said, the money machine's going now. Nike, obviously, sportswear outside of SB have got non-SB dunks dropping on the regular, and they're all fire. I mean, there aren't many silhouettes like the dunk, are there? That no one's really getting tired of this. No one's really. It's not got to a stage yet where there's an SB dunk dropping or a non-SB dunk dropping that isn't selling out. Whether it's to collectors or to people who want to resell, we don't 100% know that. But
I would have said Jordan 1s.
Yeah, I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's the Jordan 1, there's an Air Force 1, there's the Air Max. What I'm saying is that the dunk is at that level. The dunk is that silhouette, and Nike is one of the few brands, incorporating SB and Jordan into that obviously have those silhouettes. And I guess everything goes round in circles. Obviously, I was at the shop I ran before Attitude Hoax. We were the third shop in the UK to get a Nike SB account. We had it in 2003 right up to 2008, and we had every release. And it was a different world back then because there was no internet, there was no social media. We had a list of guys local to the shop who wanted the shoes, and when the shoes were going to come in, we'd ring them up. The only way you ever talked to anybody was obviously on Nike Talk or Crooked Tongues. We'd have people that would ring the shop because the nearest shop to us that had SB was Slam. And if Slam would sell out of a shoe or whatever they were doing with their shoes, we're still not sure. Obviously then people would ring up and they'd hop on the train and come down, to try and pick a pair up from us.
Cool.
It's a whole different world now because of raffles and what have you. But from what it was like then.
Sure. Sorry, Emil I think he had something he wanted to chime in with.
Yeah, thanks, Pedro. Yeah, so when I was saying that I think that's short-lived, I meant it in the sense that compared to the first time round, in the late noughties, I don't think it's going to last as long as it did then, because I think back then it was very subculture, it was very underground, whereas right now it's in your face. I'd say it's probably going to have the same type of shelf life as the Off-Whites, where it's going to have a good 2 years and then it's going to teeter off.
Cool.
Just to jump in, sorry, the resurgence that we're all talking about, it's like, if you think about it, I remember on various calls for various other things, I've spoken about the plan, innit? The 5-year or the 8-year or the 10-year plan. This is a part of a plan. If you think about one of the major things that we saw was the Geoff Staple reverse dunk thingy that came out, and everyone went gloopy over that, and everyone started paying attention. In the UK, what kind of got people's attention again, and more so the hype beast, the ones that were buying to Travis Scott, was the basement dunk. Now, after that, you had various other bits and bobs that came out, whether it be SB or the Nike Sportswear, and that's what's led us to this point now. So this is why when Jojo says the anniversary, it's part of a plan. It's a part of a.
Sure.
If we think about when that that first Jeff Staple image arrived, I guarantee you, I bet it was either 3 years ago or it was part of a longer plan, maybe say, I can't remember what year it came out. Anyone remember what year it came out?
Is that the pigeon?
Yeah,
2017, wasn't it?
That was
2018.
2005.
2017, I think.
right. So then that kind of lands in with the whole thing of it being a 5-year plan, and that's what
Yeah.
they're doing. These guys at Nike are not stupid. Everything sits on a sheet somewhere, and it's a plan towards something, and that's the 20th anniversary, I believe.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the salt within the sneaker community in regards
30th
to.
anniversary.
Sorry, what was that?
30th anniversary, isn't it?
Yeah, it is 30th.
What's that? For the dunk?
40th. What is it?
20th.
No, for the SB.
Oh, for the SB.
Yeah, 20th.
20 for
Oh,
SB.
yeah.
20th. It'll be 20th.
Yeah, 2002, 2022, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I want to talk about the salt in the sneaker community in regards to the SB Dunks in particular, and the fact that it seems like, well, it's not seems like, everyone wants a pair of Dunks, whether they be Chunky Dunkies, Medicoms, whether they be SB or not. Do you think Nike should produce more of the Dunks to cater to what I would call the growing scene, or is the stock levels enough?
Generally speaking, I think the numbers on dunks have increased anyway. Like if you're talking about like even GR dunks, like quick strike equivalent dunks, is quick strike even a thing anymore? Like I don't know if they replaced it with energy and whatnot, but like on dunks in general, I think the quantity that each location is getting, and you're forgetting there's that many locations now. Not saying there's loads of locations. I mean, there's skate store only, and then there's also retailers that have an SB account. I know that's all changing in terms of the quantities. I think the quantities are actually a lot bigger than they used to be. It will, like, if Nike won't not make more quantities still in limited numbers because they know they're going to get 100% sell through every time. So should they increase the number? I mean, they could, and I'd still sell out. You know what I mean? That's exactly what Supreme's done. You know, Supreme's increased their numbers for everything: box logos, decks, this, that, and the fourth. It still sells out. You know what I mean? As long as it's a solid colorway or a solid model or a solid concept, I think it's going to sell through either way. Yeah.
Sure. Dan, same question to you. Given the salt levels.
I think they're just going to Jordan 1 it. I think they're going to get loads of people hyped with just the craziest, you know, kind of SBs, and then just bang out huge numbers through the regular collegiate styles. I just think it's we'll probably see a dunk mid that just gets banged out in, you know, horrendous ways or something like that. And they'll just do it. They'll just do it to drive the numbers. I think it's just all in the numbers game. I think they'll leave the dunks exactly as they are because they serve a purpose. They get people absolutely frothing, and that froth just spills over, and people go out and hoover off other shit. They just, you know, and Nike will just throw shit at their consumers, you know, just like they did the mid. I mean, the mid, man, in the AJ1, I just think, you know, people went absolutely bonkers for that, and Nike have smashed it on the numbers for that. Yet they've kept the high, you know, that thing that people really want. I just wonder if they're just going to do the same thing, just use the SB as the froth, and then just absolutely destroy it on the online sales with the collegiate style. That's what I think.
Same question to Jojo. Do you think Nike should increase numbers on the SB?
I guess yes and no. Like some of the pairs, I guess, like what the dunks, there was like 400 pairs of them made. So that's like super limited, you know? And there's probably 50 to 100,000 pairs of some of these other dunks getting made. So they've definitely upped the numbers in that sense. I don't know how many they make or how many they don't make. I guess some of them you never have enough made to give everyone a pair. And that's always going to be the case.
That's exactly it, man.
I think of like the chunky, the Ben and Jerry's one, for example. They could have made 10 times the amount they did They still
I'm a
wouldn't
civilist.
even touch the surface of the amount of people that want them.
Yeah, I'm a civilist. And the Dorian ones.
Yeah.
Even the Dorian ones, even like Dorian ones were orange labels, so they're GR technically, and they sold out with a flash. You know, they sold them with a flash, and that was. And when was the last time somebody cared about a dunk high, man? Like, it's been a minute. Like, especially like new gen, like this era now. Like, Lab done all these collegiate colorways. What? How many years back now? Hello, was it like 5? Was it 5, 6 years ago when they done all the special box collegiate dunk?
Yeah,
You know
about
what I
4
mean?
or 5 years, yeah.
And same with the, was it Pinnacle-esque dunk lows as well? Like, they had the Arctic Orange dunk low that came out around the same time as the Swishless Jordan 1 low, you know? And that stuff never sold out. In fact, that stuff hit sell. Do you know what I mean? So like,
no one.
Didn't
nobody.
have
I
a
was going to
story,
say,
though.
because no one cared. No one cared
Yeah.
for it then.
Story. Yeah.
Also, the shape was a bit off. I mean, in my opinion. But
You're one of those.
Another one.
you already
Yeah.
know I'm one of those. You already know I'm one of those. Why do you think I got so gassed about the Medicoms, bro? You already know I'm one of those. That was a hard-on shape, bro.
Right, guys, I want to move over to Kanye. I know he's been on the socials of late, saying what he has to say. And I want to kick off and I want to ask Alvin this simple question. Do you think Kanye is bored? And when I say bored, I mean in terms of his workings at Adidas and the fact that he felt to post a Twitter image of him, allegedly him, in the purple courts.
Do I think he's bored? Jesus. I think he's a lot of things, but I don't know if he's bored. I think he's got too much going on both his personalities to be bored. He could take all day up just talking to himself, couldn't he? I don't know what his game plan is, and I'm sure he's got one. You know, in his own words, what has he said? Name one genius that ain't crazy. I mean, and he is a genius. There's no two ways about it. I don't really understand what the hell is going on about Puma and how he's going to realign Adidas and Puma and how he's going to. But I don't honestly know if he knows that. That's the trouble with Twitter, isn't it? I mean, he's as bad as Trump with some of the stuff he comes out with, but I don't know. No one can deny his genius in music or his genius with sneaker design, and he definitely changed the game. Even if abstractly, if he hadn't have done what he did, leaving Nike to go to Adidas, Nike probably would never have given Virgil free reign to do the 10, or Travis or Sakai, which then leads on to what we were saying earlier of SB. Going back to every dunk that ever dropped in the golden era of SB, the swoosh was untouched, and the materials used were great. Like Jeffrey was saying, the ostrich leather or the cracked crocodile leather on the Tiffany's. They always use great materials, but they would never have been allowed to fuck with the swoosh like they did on the Chunky Donkey or like they did on the Grateful Dead. Those kind of things were unheard of. So I think, regardless of what people think about him as a person or his music or what he's bantering on about, I don't think the industry would be where it was if it wasn't for him. Travis Scott certainly wouldn't have been given the opportunity to work with SB if it wasn't for him. So you can say a lot of things, but I think the sneaker industry has a great deal to thank him for, one way or the other.
Ray, let me throw that same question to you. Do you think Kanye's bored? And let me add this on top. Do you think someone actually pissed him off?
I don't think it takes a lot to piss off Kanye West if you don't agree with him. I don't know the guy, but I'm just going about some of his interviews that he does. But for me, and I know this is going to sound mad, I think he does talk a lot of sense. If you peel back the layers of what he's saying, and you got to think, he posted up a contract. He posted up his contract. I can't remember who it was with, but apparently he posted up the pages of his contract, and the contract showed that he was being exploited. Then he said to other people, right, your contracts are like these. Why are you not trying to break free from these contracts? So in people saying that he's doing a madness, well, no, he's trying to break free from something. Now, in regards to the Adidas stuff, is it that he's trying to break free from the deal? Why is he trying to break free from the deal? He's apparently a billionaire. Now, if you have that much money, what are you trying to achieve? Is he trying to go back to his passion, which was maybe working with Nike? Would Nike even take him back? I guess that's another topic for another day. Emil wants to bring that one up in now, but
no. Let's have that conversation.
well, let's have the conversation. But I think is he bored? No, I think he's got a definite objective. I think what it is, he is not as articulate as someone like potentially Barack Obama or Morgan Freeman or Pedro Blacklisted. Yeah, of course not. What it is, he probably sits down in front of the TV or not in a dark room, and all of these things come to his mind, and he just splats them out. Some of them come across as crazy. Like what did he say? He's going to be he's not doing the Gap thing unless he's on the board. Now we know he's not going to sit on the board of Gap ever. But he's saying it for a reason. Is it attention? Is it because he's got an album coming out in a few weeks? Who knows? But there is always a method to the madness, I think.
He's a PR king, though.
There you go.
He is a PR king, though. You understand something. When Ye's name is attached to something, a ruckus comes with it. Name the last time Ye's dropped something out of nowhere and it didn't cause a ruckus. I think it's enough of a ruckus for us to create a topic in this conversation. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. But that's what I'm saying. It's big of a ruckus for us to have a topic of this conversation on the panel. Do you know what I mean? That speaks in itself. I mean, like, agreeing with everybody's thoughts. He is a genius, and you know, I wouldn't have gotten this far into the game and still wear oversized clothing if it wasn't because of Kanye West. Like, one of my Nike IDs were inspired of Kanye West. You know what I mean? Like, it was off his College Dropout album cover with his little teddy bear. Graduation. And, you know, like, it's I mean, if he comes back to Nike, yeah, bro. I don't know. Are you crazy?
Everyone starts smiling.
But what would Geoff be wearing if Geoff wasn't wearing the baggies?
Oh God, what a question!
Mankini.
Oh, bro! Come on, man! Man!
You clean up those shoes and Jason marking one of them.
Oversized, man. Like, dude, it doesn't matter, man. If baggy clothes want a thing, I'll buy 2 sizes up to make it baggy. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a thing, bro. It's always been a thing, and it's always gonna be a thing. Kanye is always gonna be a thing, and always will be a thing. You know, it doesn't matter how much he can or can't mess up something. He'll still sell out. And those Yeezy slides, the slides are horrible. They sell out. Bro, it's a 45-pound vacuum molded piece of rubber.
It's not even rubber, it's foam. It's just foam. It's actually foam. Yeah.
It's foam.
I mean, so like, that's it. I mean, yeah, well, Kanye can do anything, man. Like, he's gotten to the point where he's broken the industry down. He's broken the industry down to the point where, you know, anything he chooses to do as a creative, you know, as long as he's got enough bipolar thought towards it, you know, he's talking, it's like, oh, he'll probably have this conversation, or is this hot? No, it's ugly, but I'm still gonna sell it. Oh, but why? Oh, it's gonna sell out because I'm Kanye. Oh yeah, because you're Kanye. Oh, Kanye loves Kanye. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably the conversation he has with himself. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, like he said himself, man, like he even rapped about it. 20 G's for some Yeezys off of eBay. You know what I mean? Like, his stuff will always sell out and always retain a value. You know, Yeezy 2s now, you know, it still goes for dumb money because there's less and less pairs, and you're thinking like quantity versus hype. You know, it keeps shrinking as the years go to the point where it'll just be the guy with a Yeezy 2 now can ask for any price they want.
Yes, Dan. Sorry, Dan.
Thinking, like, we missed something here. Do you not think that some of the things that he's trying to force, you know, let's just say, are race related in what's happening in the US? Like, isn't the idea of Nike coming together with Adidas, isn't that just a euphemism for black and white? Isn't the stuff that he's trying to do with Gap, isn't that about getting better representation, you know, of
on the board,
across the boards of companies? You know, to think he's trying to drive those kind of issues. I mean, yeah, I mean, at first when I thought about it, I thought it was crazy. I just thought, you know, Nike, yeah, well, let's get Nike logo and the Adidas logo on a shirt, you know. And I just thought, okay, well, what's the point? Like, who wants to really see that? But then is that what's behind it? Is he trying to use, you know, the current obsession of sportswear to kind of do something else? I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe. That's a
Maybe.
very good fact. That's a very, very good opinion, to be fair. Because I remember me and Dan were just laughing at the Twitter snapshots. And I was like, what the hell is going on, bro? I was like, did I wake up on the wrong side of the bed today? You know what I mean? And then it was just, if you want to put into that kind of perspective, I think the sportswear industry is probably the most influential industry, period. You know what I mean? Like, and if one person was going to step out of the blue and break out of the mode, bruv, there's no better person than Kanye, man. Like, he's gone, like, balls deep with everything he's done. Like, literally, he's just gone, like, all the way up. Do you know what I mean? Like, all the time. And he's always going to keep doing that. And that's why, as much as we may not necessarily love Kanye like we used to like Kanye, I'm speaking for myself, but I still love Kanye for his relevance still. How can man be on top for, I dare say, 20 years? I dare say almost 20 years and he's still relevant.
Sure.
There's so many people that have dropped by in the past and just kind of disappeared.
Sure. Jojo, do you think Nike should take Kanye back, following on from, I think it was Rain or Dan's question?
Yeah.
That's down to them. I mean, what's done at Nike is...
Oh, it's so diplomatic.
You know what it is? The stuff that he done at Nike is, that's going to go down in the history books. That kind of, the easy one, easy two. And, the whole stuff around when he left with the Red October, how that went down, I would prefer to see him at Nike, yeah, 100%, like a lot of other people. And I think if he did come back to Nike, I mean, it'd be massive, but who knows?
Yeah, that means he calls another rocket. That's another rocket in itself, man.
Yeah.
Really? Do you really think so? I mean, I know...
From Nike to Adidas, from Adidas back to Nike.
I mean, in the sense of, do people really care? I mean, some people, you've got two camps. You've got your camp, everyone loves Kanye, whatever he does, you're going to, fuck with it. And you've got the other camp where they're tired of his BS. They're tired of his BS. They're tired of his rants. They don't really stand for what he stands for. And as such, they're not interested.
I am not part of the Kanye camp. Like, I don't own a single pair of Adidas Yeezy. I'm for his movement. I'm not for his product. Like, his product, yes, Nike product. If he confused the two, then I don't know how that will work out. That would look mad. A 3-stripe with a swoosh on top of it. But like, I don't know, man. Like,
you gonna make it, Dan? Doctor Strange.
I'd rather see him go Puma. Would you rather see him go
You know
Puma?
what? But the Puma thing is more realistic because Adi and Puma are technically siblings.
Yeah.
So that's actually a very realistic aspect of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's another thing, right? If he goes back to Nike, it's like, you know what, guys? I wanted to do all this shit and you wouldn't let me. And now while I've been away, everyone else has gone and fucking done it. Like, what's left for him to do with the shoe? Jordan, all the decent Jordans that you'd ever want to wear, they've all been nailed by somebody else. I don't know. What else is he going to do? All the things that have been done by other people.
But you say that, and that we had this conversation as well, Dan. You said to me, by the end of this year, you're going to pick up 2 more pairs, and then you're considering you're going to be out of the game. I bet you next year, when you see what's coming, you're going to be back in there, 2-foot challenge in picking up stuff.
I think because I love the sport so much, and I just don't think many more things can happen than have happened better to before.
You probably said that last year, though, innit?
but put it this way, though, who saw the Yeezy 2 happening in the first place, or the Yeezy 1?
Oh, there you
know
go.
what I mean? Like, the Yeezy 1 and the Yeezy 2 were infusions of things that are already coexisting, and then concept and reality put together to make it the thing it is. So you've got Jordan 3 sole on a Yeezy 1, you got an Air Trainer Tech Challenge sole on a Yeezy 2. So, like, nobody saw that coming.
But even what's happening now with the Adidas stuff, remember when we saw the Turtle Doves and the Pirate Blacks for the first time, I would say at least 80 to 70% of people said these are trash. No one's going to buy them. They're not going to. Well, that's what he was trying to do. No one's going to buy them. Now he's gone version 2.3 in the 350. Then he's got a 700, and they're selling out. He could restock any one of those things now, and they'd still sell out. Now imagine he went back to Nike. His first order was to restock the Yeezy 1. It'll be carnage. It'll be carnage everywhere. And then his future plan, I'm going to do a Yeezy 3 with Nike. It would be carnage, absolute carnage. And probably a few of us, I won't say all of us, a few of us in there would be trying to go for that trainer.
I'm there.
Yeah, 100%.
If he,
I'm there.
you did another black and gum sole with the AirTech 2, I'm there. I mean, that sole, that gum black sole was enshrined for me. I can't believe no one else has got to touch that. Yeah. There's some things that he did.
Also,
Do you not think though, if he went back to Nike, it wouldn't be Nike? He'd go back with his own whole brand, like Jordan.
Ooh.
Good question.
I reckon he tried to.
Hold on. That's a very good point though. But name another person that's made their own line out of Nike since they paired them off for trying to get loyalty. No one. Technically, no one. It's a sub
Fear
line.
of God?
I mean, that's a brand and a brand collaborating together. But would you say that's its own range? Can you go on Nike.com and click Fear of the God and then drop down the apparel and then everything else is there? You can't. There isn't such thing.
Joey Lorenzo doesn't have the power of Kanye, though, does he?
He's actually an acolyte of Kanye. Sorry,
Yeah,
I say acolyte. He's someone that he's friends with Kanye. So
I
he's
knew
like
what alkaline meant. I knew what alkaline meant.
I heard
Am I?
After Kanye jumped ship to Adidas, it was Jerry Lorenzo, it was Virgil, it was Don C that were all from his camp in Chicago that Nike then brought in to do their thing. And Jerry Lorenzo, you know, it was the first time they'd actually given him free reign to create his whole
New trainer.
His shoe from scratch. I mean, what Virgil's done, some of it hasn't been good, like these horrible rubber dunks that are coming out now. But, you know, obviously for him to deconstruct some of their best silhouettes in the 10 and some of the stuff he's done since then has been great. But he's never created his own silhouette from scratch, which Jerry Lorenzo did. Whether people liked it or not was incidental. They gave him free reign to do it. I think if Kanye was going to go anywhere from Adidas, he'd have to go back to Nike because nobody else could afford him, which does come into it. And I think he would go back and want, like Jordan brand, he'd want Yeezy brand. He'd want it to be a, you know, like Yeezy isn't Adidas. It's owned by Kanye and Adidas, but it's not Adidas, isn't it?
But don't you think that's controversial enough for Nike to not do that because they paired them off the first time? So that basically means Kanye is powerful enough to make Nike eat their own work. Will Nike actually shoulder that?
It's a different team now, though.
Yeah,
huh?
I agree with
Sorry,
that, Mill.
Different team.
Yeah,
and that's the analogy I was going to use. It's like it's a bit like, what do you call it? It's like a football team. You got your players. You got some youths that are coming up from the youth team. You send them out on loan. They earn their stripes and they come back hardened professionals. Nike almost gave him a shot, sent him out to Adidas, bring him back to Adidas. Send him out to Adidas. Then Nike bring him back to Nike. He's a rounded professional. He's got his own brand that they can intertwine and create a Jordan brand off of if they wanted to.
I agree, but would it be a tag along off Jordan brand or would it be a standalone brand?
I think it would have to be a standalone brand.
It have to be a standalone. Yeah, I agree with you.
I can't see it going in there.
But now we talk about it, I just can't see them doing it. I mean, you know, if you think about what Nike's done politically, because they are in some ways kind of political as well, and all that stuff with Trump and Kanye in that. I mean, do you really see him doing all this whole like brand stuff that he did with Adidas with Nike after all of that as well? It all just gets a bit too complicated, I think.
Maybe he caused the ruckus just to test the waters to see if it's shark infested. You know, imagine if Nike bit and then Jordan brand was like, hey, what you saying next year then? Do you know what I mean? Like, you never know. Like, that tweet could have been a very positive thing as well as it could have been a very negative thing. And because Kanye is Kanye, he just took the risk to do it anyway.
Do you think Nike needs Kanye or Kanye needs Nike though?
I honestly don't think either of them need either of them.
No.
It's just more so a middle ground where they come together if it was to be a thing. Because, yeah, like Rain said, allegedly, yeah, he's a billionaire now and Nike's been going on. Do you know what I mean? So, like, nobody's going to lose sleep over it until something actually happens.
Sorry, I just want to jump in very quickly, and it's just something that's just occurred to me. Like, the mere fact we're talking about this, does this mean that, are we suggesting that Adidas and Kanye's run has reached the end of the line? Are we saying that his design has reached the limit in regards to his Yeezy line.
I
Are people
agree.
done with Yeezys, generally speaking?
I'm gonna say from the perspective of where I work and what I see, they will like Yeezys will always sell out, just because there's always that person that doesn't want to pay resell for it. And as long as the colorway is solid, it will always sell out. Or there's something special about the shoe, it will always sell out. But in terms of the fact that we actually are talking about this, it just means that it could be big enough of a thing to change the entire thing. Like I would like to say, after how many different versions of the several models that he has in the Yeezy line, even though it still does sell out, I feel like I beg Adidas's pardon by saying this, but like if there wasn't Kanye West with Yeezy / Pharrell with Adidas, and what else pops for Adidas other than
Beyonce.
Well, Beyonce, is it popping though? Is it popping though? Do you know what I mean? Do I
It
see?
sells out.
Yeah, I mean, it might sell out because there's.
But she's the biggest pop
Beyonce.
artist in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
of
that's the
course
wrong
she
type
is.
of popping.
But that's the booty pop. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? But like, no, I love Beyonce.
Haven't they? So
So what was that, Jojo?
I've got Sean Wotherspoon now, haven't they, over there?
Savior.
Oh,
Savior.
God.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing though.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing. Like, if I was hanging out with any of you on a one-on-one, like just chatting, me and you would not be talking about Kanye West. I just think we'd have better things to talk about. I think we're kind of talking about it because he's just done a few dumb tweets. But if either of you and me were hanging out, we would not be talking about him.
All right. So, serious question.
Just as a side question though, if Kanye left Adidas, and I don't care whether he goes to Nike, Jordan Brand, or has his own brand or whatever, what happens to Adidas?
Ooh,
Oh,
that's exactly my point. So
stocks.
that's exactly what I was saying. Like Adidas, in terms of core line products or franchises that they have, other than Yeezy and Spezial, Consortium is no longer existent, bro. And everybody knows, like, and I'm saying this off the record, but everybody knows that those Adidas retail flagships, if they're an original store, if they didn't have Yeezy brand in there, they'd be under it. They'd be absolutely under it. The figures don't pull. And then you've got everybody in higher up from Adidas that expects you to turn over the same kind of money projected from the previous year for the next year, and there's no Yeezy release. There's no way they're going to hit them numbers. Absolutely not. There is no product in their line, no matter who it's collaborated with, that's going to hit those kind of numbers. So Adidas will take a huge plummeting, even if they don't want to admit it.
So here's a question then: Is Yeezy's brand strong enough to stand on its own, separate from a sports brand, and then just collaborate with other brands?
Probably.
No, I don't think so, because their Yeezy season stuff didn't sell out.
Yeah. It was overpriced as well.
Because like, people don't forget that Yeezy season was running alongside his Yeezy project with Adidas. That stuff would never sell out unless it was like limited quantities. But the pricing of his garments were really expensive, so it doesn't mean it's attainable for people of a young age, really. I mean, yeah, the millennials find ways to spend however much money they do spend on clothes and this, that, and the fourth now. But like, if he had a standalone brand, what's he gonna do? Reinterpret Yeezy without Adidas involved? What does it mean? He finds any EVA to fill the boost instead. Like, could you imagine trying to buy another version of the Yeezy?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that was a few years ago. I wonder if because it's moved on now and it's had a few more years to kind of percolate and maybe left. You know, he learned a lot from that mistake, if you like, on the pricing. That it could be very different if he did it again. I think he'd have enough, muscle to do it again.
Alvin, do you think the Yeezy line is strong enough to stand on its own and collaborate with other brands?
I think the funny thing is, when I first saw him do the apparel separate to the footwear with Adidas, and how he presented it, and I didn't know anything about the fact that when he was young he'd worked in Gap, I didn't know he had any kind of like love for Gap that had obviously gone back to him when he was young. I remember just sitting watching the fashion show thinking, this stuff looks like stuff you just buy in Gap. It looked so plain, so sandy coloured, you know, just the whole, everything that you kind of associate to Gap, like khaki, you know, like just chinos, that sort of the whole thing. So when the Gap thing came up, that made perfect sense. And it seemed to align with what he said at the beginning of Yeezy, where he was like, everyone that wants Yeezys will get Yeezys. And obviously as that sort of teetered down to the level now where, you know, every week there's a new beige colour or a new grey colour, or, you know, there's all in the 350s. And now everybody, when they first came out, and I forget who said it, but when the Pirate Blacks came out or the Zebras first came out, we'd see a small selection of people coming in our store wearing them. And there was a lot of guys from the university who were from Japan or China or whatever who were over at the university, and they'd be wearing like Vetements or Off-White or Heron Preston. You know, they'd be dripped out, but they'd be wearing those, where now every other kid that comes in the shop is wearing them, or they're wearing white Air Forces. It's almost got to that level where the Yeezy 350 is this generation's Air Force One.
Yeah.
So it feels like you're basically saying 5 years down the road, Adidas Yeezys will still be a thing.
If that's in his plan, I like whoever said it. I think he has got a plan. You know, he had a plan. I think he's got a plan with Yeezy. He's got a plan with Adidas Yeezy. Now, whether that's to continue with Adidas, whether he's just stirring the pot, whether he is making a political statement, whether it is because he's got a new album coming out, none of us will ever know that, because I do think he is a PR genius.
I hope it's all of those things.
Yeah, I hope it's all those things. But you are. But who else is still relevant in music? Who else is still that relevant in sneakers? Who's that relevant in fashion? You know, I mean, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? There's that story that apparently years and years ago he had this picture of the Kardashians, and he said, "I'm going to be part of that family," and apparently he cut a picture of himself out and stuck himself in the picture next to Kim, and he made it happen. Apparently that's like there was this story that he
heard
made.
That too.
Yeah, he made this.
I heard that too.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy he is. That's the kind of guy he is.
Concept to reality, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, that law of attraction shit.
Oof.
You know, what I'm saying is, I think with everything, you know, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of how the thing came up with Nike. I was listening to the Complex podcast the other day of Gary Aspen with Joe LaPuma and that, and he was saying how he'd met with Kanye before the Nike thing happened. So like there was even talk, obviously apparently he'd gone to LA and chatted with Kanye about possibly doing something with Adidas years ago, like before he'd done the Nike thing. You know, because apparently Kanye always wore, what shoe was it he said he wore? It wasn't Sambas. Rod Lavers? Was it Rod Lavers? I think he said, yeah. Apparently he was always wearing, early Kanye was always wearing the Rod Laver, and apparently he wanted him to do, you know, he wanted, you know, obviously to get onto that shoe. I don't think Nike were going to let him do what he wanted to do, and the shoes he created were amazing, where Adidas were in no position, you know, or they were in a position where they were going to let him have a free reign to do what he wanted to do, and that seems to have worked out well for both of them.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Alvin, for all of that. Just to wrap up, I'm just going to do a quick fire round and just ask everyone what they're looking to pick up next. And I want to start off with Jojo.
The next cop that I want to get is probably the Union 4s, the black ones.
Sweet. Geoff?
Wait, tongue up or tongue down?
Tongue up.
The guy. Geoff, next pickup, next cop.
I'm excited for the Sakai Vapor Waffles. Like, I really like those.
The Donald Duck shoes.
Baggy. I wear baggy clothes. I don't wear skinny jeans. It'll work.
Cool. Dan, your next cop, your next pickup.
He's Dr. Strange in.
Oh, hi.
Oh,
My next pickup.
Yeah.
It's two shoes I'm super excited about.
Oh, I forgot about another one, you know.
So what?
The Air Trainer 1.
Oh,
Chlorophylls.
Yes, that's coming as well.
Yeah.
orange label as well.
Yeah, SB.
Oh,
I know, man.
yo.
So
Yeah, that's going to be another one.
Oh yeah.
That and the union, obviously.
Yeah.
Can I change my shoe?
Fucking hell, Geoff, you're all right.
Very quickly,
I know,
very
I know.
quickly. Because I need to ask Alvin and the rest of the guys.
Clean up in Jeff's house.
Jeff?
No, it's okay. I'll
All
stick
right,
to my
fine.
Sakai.
Alvin, your next cop, next pickup.
Well, I'm not going to say SBs because it's too obvious. So I'm going to go Union 4 for definite. I'm on those Sakai's the same as Geoff, but yeah, Union 4's got to be had.
Cool. Rain?
No one cares about the fragment freeze. I'm looking forward to the fragment freeze, man.
Yeah, but they're later on. They end October for them, so
Yeah. Well, that might be my next thing. Yeah.
No, you get the Union
I
4.
do want the fragment freeze though. I mean,
yeah.
I guess the next thing I'll try to get will be the Union 4s, the black version. But away from that, the things that I want are probably too far down in the year.
I just feel my odds are too low for me to say the Union 4s. That's why I didn't say it, bro. It's like,
Well,
Fair enough. Fair enough. Emil?
Tiny violin, says the man on Nike.
Boy, I'm still trying to get the Guava Union 4s. If I can't get those, then it'll
Oh. I want those
Fair
guavas
enough.
so bad.
Fair enough.
be.
Guava's so good.
Man.
Yeah, it must be nice, Dan.
Yeah, Dan.
And Rain.
What? What?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Are you right, Dad?
Oh, God. Oh, must
Hey,
be
you,
nice.
Rain.
Oh, mate.
You, Rain. You there, bro?
We love connecting with that now.
Oh my God. Oh,
Mad flex.
God.
All right, guys. That's your lot. Unfortunately, I have to wrap this up. For
Wait, what about you, Pedro? What you want? What are you looking forward
Yeah,
to?
wait, don't
What are
try.
you looking to cop, bro?
Dunlop.
You
Dunlop.
fool.
Nigel Prescott. Nigel 95.
No, denims. Air Max 1 denims. I'm still after a pair.
Oh.
Yeah, I missed that one, man. That's a
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, my girlfriend scored them those. They're really nice. Really
Yeah.
Way to go, girlfriend.
Yeah.
But guys, I need to wrap this up for editorial reasons or editing purposes. I have been your co-host, Blacklisted, alongside with Mills GP and Rain_Nelson_445. I want to thank all of our guests. Jeff, give them your handle, please.
Langzai_Dunno.
Dan,
Love sneakers, hate sneakerheads.
Alvin,
Just at Attitude Inc.
nice. And Jojo,
Jojo, the beatmaker.
awesome. And
Yes.
we have been the panel. Until the next time, keep it locked.